A 19-year-old man is now the first person in Tarrant County convicted of murder for dealing fentanyl. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Kaeden Farish will serve prison time for the death of 17-year-old Dustin Anderton in Bedford earlier this year. Prosecutors have begun using the new law to target fentanyl dealers, and there are signs it and other measures might be having an effect in the fight against fentanyl. Fox 4's David Santandri has a look at the law's impact. David.
Yeah, state data shows we are seeing a decline in fentanyl-related overdose deaths, data that matches what we're seeing nationally, but the problem is obviously far from gone.
You make it or deal it to someone who dies, we'll charge you with murder.
Prosecutors say 19-year-old Kaeden Farish is now the first person in Tarrant County to be convicted of murder for dealing fentanyl, leading to an overdose death.
My office just used the new fentanyl murder law and sent a defendant to prison for dealing a deadly dose of fentanyl.
The new law went into effect last fall. It allows prosecutors to charge individuals with murder if they make or deal fentanyl that causes death. Farish pled guilty and is sentenced to 19 years in prison.
Fentanyl overdoses are unfortunately all too common, and unfortunately people don't know what they're ingesting whenever they take the drug.
Bedford Police Department charged Farish after 17-year-old Dustin Anderton overdosed and died from fentanyl-laced pills while inside a home on January 20th.
I don't think anybody would intentionally take a lethal amount of fentanyl knowingly.
The chief of police points out that for detectives pursuing an overdose murder charge, there's a greater threshold of necessary evidence to make the case stick in court.
The work that they put in and the effort and time that they put into a case like this goes well beyond just your normal narcotics investigation.
Texas Department of State Health Services data shows a steadily rapid increase in fentanyl poisoning deaths throughout the past decade. In 2014, Texas reported 79 fentanyl poisoning-related deaths. That was only 3.7% of all drug poisoning deaths. But in 2023, more than 2,300 deaths, approaching half of all drug poisoning deaths. Now, this year, for the first time in a decade, those numbers are shrinking. So far, roughly 1,000 deaths. The hope moving forward,
you are going to be held responsible and accountable for what you've caused in our communities,
is that charging people for murder related to fentanyl deaths deters dealers and manufacturers and helps that number continue to drop.
And really put drug dealers on notice.
Now, while this was the first conviction for Tarrant County, we have seen several other charges in Tarrant County, as well as charges in Collin, Denton counties, and others in North Texas. Steve, Heather, back to y'all.